Hello, people of the space. Welcome back to rLounge. Sometimes we're forced to an edge, and taking a leap might mean losing it all. But sometimes losing it all means gaining a new perspective. Oftentimes, we don't realize we're so close to a breakthrough until we're backed into a corner. Today, we hear from two people who are experiencing these growing pains and the unknown future they both face. Am I the a-hole for freaking out at my mother-in-law for cooking with bacon fat? Context. Mother-in-law, 59 female, lives with us. I, 29 female, went vegan 5-ish years ago by my dietitian's recommendation. It's the only diet that helped me keep the weight off. I was severely obese and on my way out mentally and physically, and I'm almost at a healthy BMI because of it. So I got hurt at work when I slipped on ice about a month ago. I broke my ankle and fractured my leg, and I haven't had the energy to get out of bed and do my house chores. Husband, 35 male, is a registered nurse and works extremely long hours, so I wouldn't ever ask him to do house chores. My mother-in-law pays $160 in rent every month. We love her. It helps cover the food, but we don't ask for much. Occasionally, she will come on a grocery run with me. But when I got hurt, my husband and I asked if she would help with some of the chores, just doing the cooking and cleaning up. That is all I asked. And in return, we wouldn't ask for rent for a year. She agreed, and honestly, seemed pretty happy by it. It gave her something to do. And I won't complain. Her cooking is amazing. We discussed my vegan diet and how I had to follow it very strictly. I gave her the whole rundown, and I even told her that if it was too much, I could get a HelloFresh and make my easy meals for myself, but she insisted she was fine. I was extremely grateful. This week, I've been able to get out of bed and start helping around the house again, and this week was my weigh-in. I went up by about 6 pounds. I was extremely confused. Mother-in-law told me everything that was in the meals. Everything fit my diet. I was extremely suspicious now of if she was telling the truth, so I told my husband, and he said he would ask her. Well, she's been greasing the pans with bacon fat. I caught her doing this because I discovered a cup of this said bacon fat wrapped in our freezer. I was extremely livid. She also made me a Beyond Burger, but later confessed that it was real meat and cheese. I ate that every day for about a week. I guess I was too delirious and on pain meds to realize it. I freaked out at her and told her that I never want her cooking in my house ever again, and I stormed up to my room. She told me that she only did it because she knew it would make me feel better. It actually made me more sluggish. Surprising! About an hour later, my husband came up freaking out at me, telling me I was a witch and an a-hole for yelling at his mom. I told him what had happened, and he said he didn't care and that I had to apologize. I didn't say anything back at that point because anything I would have said, it would have been pointless. Now I feel like an a-hole for yelling at her. I told my sister what had happened, and she said that I shouldn't have reacted that way. I feel like no one understands how hard I worked to lose almost 170 pounds, and it's not hard to follow simple effing instructions. So, am I the a-hole? I think your initial reaction was warranted. You've worked very hard to get where you are, and when people don't respect that or the choices you've made to better yourself, that can be very frustrating. It also can seem selfish from an outside perspective because experiences are very subjective. Because of that, I think your husband's reaction was also warranted. At the same time, however, you provided your mother-in-law with solid instructions that she had promised to follow, and she should have kept her word. Sometimes people think they know what's best for us, but that's not for them to decide. Hey, tell us a time where people tried to offer their unsolicited advice and force something upon you that was against your moral beliefs and values. What did you do? Next up, OP opens her eyes to a whole new world and grows some wings. Leaving my husband and feeling like I'm married to my mother-in-law. About a month or two ago, I posted on Am I the A-hole about my mother-in-law. I got some really good advice, and at first I thought it was all my mother-in-law's fault. But because of kind strangers, it got pointed out that my husband was a freaking bum. Some quick context, but the whole post is on my profile if you would like to read the whole thing. I am vegan and my mother-in-law was cooking with bacon fat without my knowledge and feeding me meat while I was bedridden. My mother-in-law made me realize I am literally married to her. I am pregnant with her child. Her and my husband are the same person, and it's so disgusting. Lazy, controlling, witchy, and hateful. I think I'm going to divorce my husband. I'm 5 weeks pregnant, and me and this girl from high school have been messaging back and forth on Facebook. and I think we're gonna go on a date. I hope this inspires someone to leave their bum frickin' husband. He will have his mommy. I can thank my mother-in-law for making me realize Satan is real and in the form of all of her kin, and making a son that made me realize I was a lesbian after all. Quick edit. Sorry I didn't check this in the few days. I was getting everything finalized. He doesn't want the child. I spoke to him today and he told me to abort it. When I told him I wasn't going to, I told him I was leaving. He tried to apologize and blah blah blah. I just told him basically everything I wrote in this post and my other one. Someone told me to leave in the middle of the night, and I think that's my plan. Thankfully, we never really got married under the law, just in front of his God. Another thing he kept me under, his extreme religious beliefs. We were going to get legally married, but then COVID happened. Me and this girl really hit it off. I think I'm going to go stay with my mama for a while and see where me and this girl go. She's so sweet and the nicest person I've ever met. It's really just like a breath of fresh air, and she's so pretty too. Thanks for everything, y'all. I got my paper trail, texts him saying he doesn't want the kid if he ever tries to come back into my life. I wouldn't care if he wanted to see the kid later in life, but I'm not going to bug him for child support, and I honestly doubt he's going to. I also have texts and videos of him, let's just say being very aggressive to me and my now ex mother-in-law. This child is obviously going to be curious on who its father was, so I will never hold them back and finding him later in life, and maybe he will get his head out of his butt. But thanks again to all who helped and all who gave advice. My best wishes to all of you. First off, I'm so proud of you for living the life that you want. Unfortunately, it often takes crazy experiences like these to really offer those aha moments, but in the end, they really push us in the right direction. Like I said, sometimes people think they know what's best for us, but they don't live our lives or know how we think and feel. It's frustrating when we can't feel like we can be our true selves freely and without judgment. You shouldn't have to live under someone else's control or feel trapped in a skin that doesn't feel like your own. Thankfully, you were able to get out when you could without trying to live a lie. Continue on your path of self-discovery. You know what's best for you. Our first reaction from the community comes from Iris Spice. If you're only 5 weeks pregnant, you still have time not to be married to either of them or share custody. Just saying. The OP responds, yeah, I'm not letting him see the kid after some evaluation. He even told me if I got pregnant before he was ready, I was aborting it. I'm ready to have a child, so I'm leaving. Thanks for your kind words and support. Madam Mim 88 chimes in. Move to a location where they can't find you. Maybe just disappear in the middle of the night for satisfaction. Block them on everything and password protect everything. Make sure they can't track your phone. Any contact should only go through your lawyer. Next up, young lovebirds on the edge of a cliff. Will they fall and meet their demise, or will they fly? I think I'm getting divorced because of mother-in-law. Spoiler alert. I, 22 female, have already ranted to this sub about my 60 female mother-in-law and my husband's, 26 male, unwillingness to defend me. I keep asking my husband to defend me to his mother and has made it abundantly clear that she doesn't like or respect me. It's gotten to the point where he will quickly brush me off when I bring up the situation. We blew up tonight after he told me, so, did anything happen at work, or did you just want to go straight into this? I said I get it and walked away to the bathroom. He followed me to brush his teeth. I went to the toilet and told him not to look at me. I tried to close the door and he forced it open to then come in and put his hand on my chest to push me. I quickly backed and asked him, so now you want to put your hands on me? He instantly backed off and said, this is getting weird. I got angry and said, what? Now you want to turn around? I'm right here. I'm not going to hit you back. I was trying unsuccessfully to hold back my tears. It broke my heart that it got to that point. I locked myself in the toilet closet until I heard him take his keys and leave. Once I knew he was gone, I got my purse, keys, and phone and barricaded myself in the closet. I'm now going to sleep here and wonder whether or not this is the end of my very young marriage. I am so sorry that your relationship has reached this point. Please know that it is never okay for someone to lay their hands on you. Ever. No one deserves that, and it is never okay. If you and your husband are both willing, you should consider meeting with a third party, such as a counselor. where they can help you discuss your feelings in a safe place if you haven't already. It's important that you both feel heard, and with emotions running high, it's important that these discussions happen in an environment appropriate to do so. In heated moments, there's a lot left unsaid. A counselor may be able to walk you and your husband through navigating these discussions. Sometimes, the hardest thing we can do is just open up and talk, and sometimes that's the simplest fix. I encourage you to reach out to local services where both you and your husband can receive the support you deserve, if you so choose. If not, it's important that you take care of yourself and stay safe. Please stay safe. Shiny Poop has the first reaction. Him leaving isn't a good sign and he won't defend you isn't looking good. I'm sorry. The OP responds, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to think that marriage is going to end so soon over this. I just wanted him to stand by me like his brother did his wife. The next thought comes from TYVNZN. Hi, this situation sounds exactly like my husband and I several months ago. I am also 22, so reading your post felt like it was my writing, almost. We had started getting physical, not abusive, but physical. Pushing, pinning, etc. We decided the first thing to do was draw a boundary and vow to never do it again. After came the harder part, because it wasn't the most apparently wrong thing. Making my husband realize his relationship with mother-in-law isn't normal. It did not happen overnight. It has taken almost a year. He fought back against it many times. I have felt like such a burden many times. You both have to sit down and assess several issues. The number one is communication. It sounds like he isn't listening to you, nor trying to understand you. I had told my husband I feel like he isn't being a friend to me when I tell him my feelings, regardless of whether it was about his mother or not. This was an eye-opener. The two is obviously the relationship with his mother. I made the mistake of trying to resolve my issues with my mother-in-law myself. Hell broke loose. I was afraid of putting him in the middle of it. It happened anyways. He should be setting boundaries and defending them for you. Something that helps is not complaining about his mom all the time. I did that and realized how agonizing it must be to hear someone crap talk your mom all the time. Instead, I would tell him how her actions made me feel and why it wasn't acceptable. I held back all the comments about how ridiculous or annoying she is, etc. I don't know if this helps, but maybe it will be a start. I know exactly how you feel though. Everything in my marriage has started to get better, but it also took willingness in my husband and him setting strict boundaries, realizing the no behavior in his mother. The OP replies, it's really crazy that you were in a very similar position. I made the mistake of telling him pretty much every time his mom did something. I can understand why he might be done with me after that. I agree that there needs to be boundaries because she doesn't see a problem with some of the nasty behavior she has. I feel emotionally exhausted, and I've been taking it out on the people I feel like are a part of the problem. I hope that I can say in 5 years that it all worked out, but in the meantime, I'll keep this in mind. We've got one more comment from Countryside Love. You insulted the only woman he obviously truly loves, and because his feelings for his mommy are quite odd, he gets gaga. Take some time off from him, a break for you. Try to distance yourself emotionally so you can see the situation from a rather rational perspective. Can you stay somewhere for a week or two? It's time you do something for yourself. Seek a therapist or so. They clearly overstepped boundaries. Hurting you physically is just the top of the iceberg since he is constantly hurting you psychologically. Like, what the F? You hid yourself in a closet in your own home? This is not even red flags anymore. It is burning flags. The OP responds, to be fair, he didn't push me. He only put his hands on me like he was going to. I honestly don't know what would have happened if I didn't call him out on it though. Thank you for joining us today at rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss our next video. If you have any feedback on today's content, let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you. See you next time.